Welcome again, suburban readers and viewers, to my study that's turned into a studio, and I have a very special program of Beyond the Pages for you today. And before I introduce the program and introduce my very special guest, I want you to know that you're going to be very laid back. And for those of you who like my hot town putting the new prohibitionists on the run column, you're going to love this hour. You know that I've written over and over again that the only thing in life that it makes any sense is pleasure. Perhaps that's even more so in this year of madness and mania. So I want you first to say hello to my beautiful and brilliant friend, Susan Eliza Port, who is coming to us from the American West. The reason why we're not identifying where will become obvious. And the first thing I want to do before my intro is to raise a glass because Susan loves Prosecco. So I got out my Louis Bouillotte, Susan, and my Waterford for Susan because she's worth it. Susan Port.
Cheers.
We love
cheers
you.
And hello to all the viewers out there. And yeah, cheers. Thanks, Beryl.
And they love you in Montreal.
Yes, they sure do.
Now, technically, you'll see on your screens when this goes up later tonight that the title of this episode is Influencers in Social Media. Susan Eliza Port breaks the mold. But really, she does. And really, it's more than about influencers. This past year has changed socialization. It's changed human relationships. We all know, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, it's been a subject of debate about what influencers do. Susan has been called an influencer, and she has a massive following of 154,000 people, many in Canada, by the way. But she takes it to a whole different level. It's like watching and binge watching a continuing reality show. She's obviously beautiful. She's obviously sensual, and she does beautiful and sensual things on her Instagram videos. But she's also an entrepreneur and very successful at it. Thank you very much. I wish I had her success. She takes us through her world of business. She takes us through her world of personal passion. She's a gourmet cook. She takes us into her kitchens and makes these wonderful dishes that I can only look at and wish that I could cook as well. But I got my Boeuf Bourguignon specialty, and that's about it. But this woman does incredible things. She takes us on her horseback ride. She takes us to her cabin and all the things she's doing there. She takes us to her friends. She's an extraordinary person. And frankly, it's a time when we have to be honest and open with our passions because, yes, Beyond the Pages goes beyond the pages in public affairs, goes beyond the pages of politics, grills politicians. But in the final analysis, if and when we solve all our problems without art and love and women and food and music, life is nothing but a treadmill from cradle to grave. And it's women like Susan Eliza Port that make those special moments in life happen. Susan, a million thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's start and give some color commentary before we get into what you do and what the media part of what you do is all about. And as I mentioned to you, and I'll tell you viewers, to me, Susan is new media. Because if Instagram and Facebook and all that is new media, she's taken new media to a different level, and she's combined really reality television with new media. But first, your accent gives it away. So how did a lovely, nice South African girl get to the American West?
Well, you know, I have always been a yes lady, a yes girl, a yes woman.
That's good news.
Yes, cheers to that. Being a yes lady. No, so I've always loved to travel. And when I finished school, I went to culinary school, I became a chef, moved to London for 2.5 years, was a chef in 5-star hotels, worked in a Michelin star restaurant as well, and went back to South Africa, but then realized it's too small for me here. I need to keep traveling. So I went to Cape Town and got my deckhand course certification so I could sail around the world with a boyfriend at the time.
So you not only know how to cook, you know how to handle a boat and a tiller and everything else.
Everything. Yes. If you put it in hands, I can do it. So we decided we were going to sail around the world. Anyway, our plans got cut short when we were in the British Virgin Islands. We hit a hurricane, and so we could not afford to stay on this island. Tortola is a very expensive place. So his sister had just moved to an area in the west of the United States. So we decided we would just go and stay there and try and find another position on a yacht so we could carry on our sails and our travels. Anyway, he was a bit of an asshole, so I decided I was going to break things off when we...
Asshole being a technical term for a type of male personality, of course.
Well, not a male, because women
can be assholes. Oh, yes, they can.
My cat can be an asshole too sometimes. So, you know, he was just an asshole to me. And so I decided enough's enough.
I can't understand
this
anybody
relationship.
asshole to you.
Well, you know, not everyone is fit to be together. And we're not all going to always get along. I'm a realist when it comes to that.
Because your brains and your beauty intimidate most men. I told you that before. You have to check with me. Any prospects, you check with me.
Okay. So anyway, let's cut to the chase. I don't want to, you know, hang around this one too long. But he was an asshole, and so I decided I was going to apply for a job and work as a nanny or a chef or something. So I went online, got a job with this family, and they took me in, and I was their personal chef for, you know,
wow,
yeah, and had this refuge and a wonderful home and a loving family that I got plugged into in the USA immediately. And there I was. I decided to just stay. So I became legal, which is good.
Okay, yes.
And I'm a citizen in the USA now. I've been here for 13 years, almost 13 years. And I do love it. I enjoy it. Do I miss home? Absolutely. All my family's still back there. But
and the city you're from is listed as one of the 5 cities in the world with the best climate.
That is correct. However, it is also known as the Windy City.
Yes.
I'm not talking about Chicago here,
right?
Because this is in South Africa. Right. But it's also known as the Windy City. And I'm not a huge fan of wind. So I've got to be honest with you. I don't miss the weather.
Yet I've seen you up in your cabin, which we'll get to later. I don't know how you put up with it. Particularly the day when you had to wash with the sink water, but that's another story.
Oh, but that's an adventure. I love a good adventure, and there's nothing worse than just sitting on your ass and not doing anything. So when I'm at the cabin, it's a lot of fun to go and get the word, bring it in. There's a lot of things that have to happen in the day for you to enjoy your day at the cabin. And I enjoy that. You don't just sit down and relax 24/7. You do get to relax, but you first have to do some chores before you get there.
So you finish with the family who's taken you in, and what happened then?
Then I met a guy.
You met a guy.
Well, I wasn't finished with the family. While I was living with the family, I met a guy. We fell in love, and we got married. Because I was in the United States on a 10-year multiple entry visa, I had to leave after 6 months. So we were dating for probably 4 of the 6 months. I left to go back to South Africa, but upon returning a month later, I was actually detained in Atlanta, in the airport. And they harassed me. They locked me in a cell, and they wanted to know all of my business. They thought I was coming back to the USA to have a baby and to become naturalized that way. But I wasn't pregnant. I just had a lot of medication on my persons, because when I was in South Africa, I went to a skin doctor, put me on Accutane, and I thought, well, I'll just bring all the pills back with me.
They were not pleased, I presume.
They were not pleased. And also, then they wanted to know, well, how can you afford to be here? I had to explain, well, actually, I'm from an affluent family in South Africa. Here's my credit card. Here's my health insurance. I don't need anything from you. If anything, you should be welcoming me into your country because I'm keeping your economy running.
Right.
I'm a shopper. I do all this stuff. I love going out to restaurants. I'm a big spender. I love to spend.
Absolutely.
And anyway, eventually they let me go. But I realized at that point, I never wanted to go through this ever again. So when I came back to the United States, they let me back in. I saw my boyfriend at the time. He then said, well, let's get married. So we ended up getting married. It was quick relationship. We were married, within 10 months of dating. And we were married for a good, 7.5 years. We have 2 beautiful children together. Wasn't for nothing. Definitely not. I got my 2 pride and joys. I've got the best kids in the world. Love them to death. Would do anything for them.
Boy and girl.
And he is a good father, but our relationship was incredibly boring. I felt like I was dying inside. It's not that he was a bad person. I think it's the difference between our upbringings as well. I'm from a family that talks about everything. He's from a very religious family. Even though he's not religious, he has these core values. And my core values do not necessarily align with his.
Oh God, every time I hear anybody use the word values, private or public citizen, I get very nervous.
Yeah.
Values at home, but anyway.
I do too. So anyway, moving forward, I've created a whole, I have my own values, but I've broken the mold, as you call this show anyway. I have broken my own mold because I felt like I lost myself when I got married. And I needed to put everything out of my mind that I had learned over the last, 7 years. Obviously, we've moved on 4 years from now. We've moved on 4 years. But in the 7 years, everything I learned in my marriage, I felt like my soul was I was not shining. My soul could not shine out of my face. I felt like no one could even notice me. I didn't even notice myself.
You're an incredibly passionate woman. I presume his passion
so passionate. Maybe too passionate. Cheers to being passionate.
There's no such thing, but I presume that he wanted a certain degree of conservatism and didn't quite understand what was in this volcano called Susan. Would that be fair?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of lava in this volcano.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to lots of lava.
So the marriage ends, you've got the kids, you're doing your thing, and then some 2.5, 3 years ago, you start showing up on Instagram.
That's correct.
Doing this continuous show. And I don't know if that started from the beginning, but obviously you do beautiful and sensual things and tasteful and lovely. But you bring all of us into your world, every aspect of your world.
Yeah, so it didn't start out like that. The reason for me I was not a social media person. When I was married, I had an account, but I never posted anything. Maybe like 1 or 2 pictures of my kids and the, peonies that I picked from my yard. It was stupid. It was just, to me, it was stupid. There was no point in having it because I was just making posts that didn't mean anything to me. And
you like peonies, do you?
Why am I putting this mindless stuff, mindless to me, on a page for 200 people, maybe 150 people to see? So I didn't bother. I just shut it down. And then I got in this amazing relationship afterwards. And I'm still in that amazing relationship. And I realized exactly what I wanted out of my life. I wanted to become that wild, independent Susan again. The wild, independent Susan that I was always. You want
to let the lava flow.
Absolutely. Every friend of mine that you ask, from high school to my 20s, before I fell in love with my ex-husband, would tell you, Susan is a wild one. In fact, my cell phone for the longest time has called me Wild One. That's my name on my cell phone, Wild One. And I just felt like I needed to find somebody that was compatible with me, that would love me for me, that would accept me for me, and that would like the show of Susan.
That doesn't seem too hard a task.
To be sexy and be fun. Well, I promise you, I lost that sexiness in my marriage. I'm not going to lie. That's why I say I honestly became withdrawn from myself and society. So now I did a whole 180, 360, whatever you want to call it.
180.
I'm back. I'm 180. I'm back to being myself, but a better me. And yeah, I don't know. I think my sexiness came back. It's like a Justin Timberlake song.
I can't imagine it ever leaving.
I got my sexy back and decided I wanted to model bikinis because I work out really hard and I focus on my body really, really hard. And so I started modeling bikinis. And
professionally or on your Instagram account?
No, on my Instagram account.
Right.
For starters. I was like, well, people are modeling bikinis. People have all these, Instagram accounts. I love seeing some of these females online and, they show off their amazing curves. And I think it inspired me. So I thought I could inspire other women, right?
Yes,
well, only 3% of women follow me. So I guess I don't inspire women. But I do inspire a lot of men. So it started off really slow, and I actually had a few Instagram accounts shut down. I'm on my 6th Instagram account.
Why?
Well, either community guidelines or I was being reported. And there are a lot of jealous people in this business. And by this business, I mean females that are promoting sexiness online or on Instagram. And there are a lot of naysayers out there. So whether they are religious people that don't like a woman in a bikini and feel that they're showing too much skin, the fact that she is a mother, how dare you be a mother and be sexy? Because once you're a mother,
the blue-haired prohibitionist,
and you go to die pretty much. And
I want to tell everybody,
true.
Let me interrupt. I want to tell everybody, before your imaginations take ridiculous flights of fancy, Susan's videos, bikinis or the rest of her life, are the most elegant sensuality you will ever see. It is not coarse, post-pubescent teeny boppers. We're talking about living art, but go ahead.
Well, and I would also call it artistic. There's a lot of thought and imagination that goes into
You're
my
actually
posts as
acting.
Well. No, well, not necessarily acting, but
No,
I'm
I'm not
creating.
talking about acting your emotions. I'm not talking about faking your emotions, but it's acting in the best sense of the word. You are doing it in a very professional way.
Yes, well, and classy. Everything about me is classy.
It absolutely
That is one thing. That is one thing I will never skew on, is my class. And I know I'm a classy lady, and I like to exude that. I think you can be sexy and not not trashy. I think you can be sexy and classy and bring a sense of, you call it je ne sais quoi.
Oh, je ne sais quoi. We talked about whether she understood French or not. She said they hit her with food terms. That was good. Very good. Je ne sais quoi. Excellent.
Je ne sais quoi.
Montrealers will appreciate that.
Love you, Montreal.
Montreal loves you back.
So yeah, I just thought I could bring a sense of class. But so my Instagram really evolved from the bikini model stuff. I was posting pictures.
Stuff, you now have a professional relationship, don't you, with a particular
Yes.
company? I'll name it.
So now I have a professional relationship with Malibu Strings as well. They're a micro bikini line out of California, actually.
They're not all micro bikinis. Ladies, check it out, by the way.
Of course, they're stunning. And you know what? If you want to find more self-confidence as a woman, you've got to push your boundaries. I'm sorry, but it is the truth. You cannot cover your body. If you're covering your body, you are covering your soul as well. I promise you, when I put on micro bikinis for the first time, I felt very awkward. But then once I started walking around and, you know, really embracing it, like feeling what it really feels to be a woman. These are my parts. And yes, I am almost exposing part of me, but it was a sheer excitement. And I thought, okay, I'm going to post pictures with these, you know, with these swimsuits. And I did, and it became wildly popular. Granted, 97% men, 3% women. I wonder why. I do wish I had more women supporters out there. I feel women should embrace each other more and not feel ashamed about their bodies and other women's bodies.
And let's do a plug for this.
Yeah.
Among your business partnerships, and I think I've counted 6, there are items, products for women.
Absolutely.
From teeth whiteners to skin conditioners to you've
devices,
got jewelry,
all of it.
You've got a jewelry line.
Yeah, I mean, I have tons of products for women, loads of products for women. Any type of beauty regimen I do, I tell my followers about it. All of, you know, my whole captive audience, everyone gets to know every piece of my life. I think the Lumi Spa, a little device that exfoliates the skin, has had over 100,000 views already for that IGTV video. And it's just me standing in a bodysuit over my basin and showing this item, this device. Now, I think it's been wildly popular amongst men because I'm standing there in you know, beautiful lingerie. But why not? I'm in my bathroom. That's where I wear sexy lingerie. And it's a good thing I was wearing sexy lingerie and not just standing there butt naked.
And by the way, some of your videos are about your products, which you would think only women would use.
Absolutely. Women should be using.
There's an element of jealousy of you out there.
Maybe so.
Women are jealous of other beautiful women.
Maybe so. I mean, I do definitely believe that. I think women are so judgmental and critical of each other. It's very sad. Honestly, when you get a compliment from a woman, you feel like that is the biggest compliment. Compliments from men don't go very far. They don't have much bearing. But a compliment from a woman really, really melts the heart, and it really, really is close to the heart. So yeah, women supporting women is so important to me. But it's a pity it doesn't happen more often.
And obviously you get pushback from community standards. But the amazing thing is, and I know this bothers you, is that after 45 years of feminism, after 45 years of where until frankly probably in the Bush years in the States, we had open sexuality, we had open pleasure. People understood what I said at the beginning, that their bodies are their own, their pleasures are their own. And you would think that we would have advanced, and it seems the past 5-10 years, and I don't know if why there's been this sensual conservatism. I wouldn't even say sexual conservatism. It's a sensual conservatism. There's this retrenchment into really hypocritical thinking. And I know it bothers you.
It does bother me. I think most of it
bothers the hell out of me, but more out of, you're really on the firing line.
I am on the firing end, and I get comments, and I do a little thing called Ask Me a Question once a week and I'll try and answer as many questions that my followers would like to know about me. But I do get a lot of questions, regarding the fact that you're a mother and you're prancing around in little bikinis, what are your kids going to think? Or how can you do that? Well, to me, it's about openness, right? My kids will never be shocked at anything I do because I'm open and honest about everything I do. I don't have to be ashamed of the way I live my life.
Frankly, they'll grow up into pretty well-adjusted adults.
Absolutely. I get questions about the most random things, but there are a lot of people that do post derogatory comments and send messages and expect a response. But my response to that is, do you really think if you walked up to the street and told a woman, I don't want to, say it on camera for your viewers to hear, but because I'm more eloquent than that. But if you have a derogatory thing to say to a woman and you say it to her on the street, do you think she's going to slap you through the face, or do you think she's going to say, yes, honey, let's go on a date? I think that social media and the computers, the internet, has given everyone this amazing veil that they can sit there behind and they can type whatever they want, and they can type disgusting things and horrible things and miss the point entirely. It is okay to be sexy, and it is okay to show your body. There is nothing wrong with the human body. And for people to take that out of context and to think that you are a slut and a whore and all these things, and you're a terrible mother because you're showing your stretch marks on your stomach, things like that, which is completely insane.
I have seen no stretch marks, by the way, but that's me.
Well, I do, because I'm my biggest critic.
Okay. But that brings up an important point right here. So, and I don't know if it's because people today have lost the ability to talk openly to each other like we are, or to even approach somebody physically. But I'm making a point about your work. Past 50 or 60 years, there isn't a perfume or a cigarette in the past, or beauty products, Estee Lauder, doesn't matter what it was. They all had these very well-known movie stars, some in various stages of disrobement, leaning over with this product. And there was a little bit of criticism of that, but once people who do what you do got this brand of influencers, which I know you hate the word, and it's not applicable, because you've really recreated new media. What's the difference between you in a bathing suit or a movie star in a bathing suit? We all remember, it started with Demi Moore's pregnancy picture on Vanity Fair's cover. Mm-hmm. That famous picture of her naked belly on Vanity Fair's cover. And then we had Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld on Esquire, I think it was. With the Declaration of Independence on her naked bum. And somehow people thought, generally, there were critics, but generally they thought it was cute. But once you do it on social media, which is now the standard, that's where most people, according to every poll, get their information, get their entertainment. So why haven't people made this transition and understanding this the same thing we were doing 15, 20, 25 years ago, but in a different way? It's Playboy After Dark, which used to be syndicated on 300 cities.
Yeah, I mean, it is a conundrum, but I can tell you my bikinis are much smaller than the bikinis they wore.
They are a bit.
They're smaller. And then also, I have embraced my sexuality, my sensuality. So when I am on camera, I do exude my sexual nature, my playful nature, but I think it's a very important part of all humans. I think we all have to harness that. And so I feel like I'm a little bit of an educator, but it's a good thing. I'm so glad.
But you don't have to be. You can do what you want to do. Because
but I like educating these people. I enjoy it. It actually gives me a sense of fulfillment at the end of the day as well. That I did help somebody. Maybe they commented and I sent them a message back and just said, well, hang on 1 second. Let me just explain this to you. Your values growing up may have been one set of values, but my values are different to your values. We have many different religions. We have many different types of people in the world. And you may have been more influenced by your grandmother or your mother and her set of values. Well, let me tell you, I have my own complete set of values. I have not taken on what my parents have taught me or what my grandmother taught me. I created my sense of values, my core values. I did all of that by myself. And because I did that, I am so fulfilled and so happy, so happy. You know, but from
I have a theory about that, by the way.
10 years ago, it's a total change for
I
me.
have a theory about that, by the way. So
Okay, let's hear your theory.
Influencers getting a bad rap
Uh-huh.
because, people, full disclosure, on my Instagram account, the Instagram pushes out a lot of these influencer sites. And Susan's a friend. So when I saw her, first of all, I went, oh, there she is. And there's that face, first of all. But
And the smile.
unbeatable, unbloody beatable. The sun rises in your face. But most of the influencers, as I said before, post-pubescent, not many brains. This is a brilliant woman. She has things to say. And most of the other stuff is, how should I put this? Exhibitionism versus seduction, but seduction in the best sense of it. So it's like there's a really stupid group of influencers out there. And do you feel you're getting lumped into that, and the audience has an inability to delineate between quality and everybody else?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I do think
the other crowd actually does. The other crowd does. I don't know. The other crowd does. 20 seconds, 30 seconds, prancing around a pool in a bikini. They don't even talk.
Yeah.
You're giving people an entree into a world, your world. You've created a show. You've created a media show. And
I also created a sign out.
yes, you did.
And it's become wildly popular. Well, it's been wildly popular for quite some time now, actually. But I do get flack when I don't end my little segment or my cooking show.
Yeah.
I have a little cooking show called Delicious. If I don't end that with my
That is a signature. People, that is a signature.
People get really upset with me. Why didn't you kiss me? Why didn't you? They really feel a connection. And I love the people that get that. I love all those followers that get the connection, that get that I understand I'm never going to get to meet these people, but I am here as a friend and I love you. I don't have to meet you, but I do feel a sense of love for you.
Do that again. Because, and can I say what I said to you about that?
Yes.
When we talked? So I said to Susan, any person, man or woman of any sophistication or understanding, knows that kiss, yes, it's warm, yes, it's a sign off. But if you look at her face, it's also, look, I know what I'm doing to you, but it's within limits. And I appreciate the fact that you're looking at this. But yes, I do know what I'm doing to you. I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't mean to torture you. It's a very eloquent kiss. It's a very eloquent sign off. It's, as the writer said, pregnant with possibilities and interpretations. But I'm really surprised that writers, even writers who write about public affairs like me, this is media, that they've never been able to differentiate. Like we had an incident in Montreal.
Yeah.
With a young lady of a certain age. She certainly wasn't post-pubescent, not anywhere. And she was doing her thing on TikTok. Doesn't have your following. She has about 25,000. I checked into it after we talked yesterday.
Okay.
And she got upset by TikTok, and this has made the news in North America, allowing anti-Semitic videos. So she did a whole public thing using her notoriety to attack a public cause. And I was surprised by the lack of writing, the lack of chronicles, about the lack of opinion and commentary by people who should comment that, you know what, okay, you may not like commercial influencers for products, but the fact is they have a following. A few have the brains that you do, and they can use that power for good as well when they need to. And the rest of the time, leave them alone to lead their life. It's like people can't get that.
Yes, this is true. Yeah, when you're in, it is funny when you are in a social light of sorts. I mean, I don't see myself as famous at all. It's just I have a broad, I have an audience, and I have a platform, and I have a place where I can shout and sing to the world if I wanted. Well, 154,000 people of the world. And yeah, I don't think that.
Sorry, my reporters are texting me. It's never ends. I don't need children. I knew at 15 my life was going to be public, but you know, it's the same thing. It's like herding cats, and you've got children and a cat.
Yeah, I'm like, why aren't you listening to me right now?
I apologize. You have your full attention. I am your
Okay,
slave.
now kneel before me.
There we go. There we go. How's that? Is that good? I am your liege lord. There you are.
There you go.
Okay.
Farrell says he will do anything for me. So I'm going to put him on the spot here because this is my joking, fun nature.
That is true.
You know, I'll take the piss all day long. I love it. Comedy and, you know, having a good sense of humor, I think classifies as a person that has a lot of brains. So.
Now, by the way, you and I have talked about it. I'm not going to reveal details.
Yes.
But we're a society, particularly in America. Canada's different. Canada's got what sociologists call the tall poppy syndrome. That if you rise above the average, they cut you off. But America values success. And your business relationships through your site have done you well.
Yeah, done me well. But I'm going to say my you know, put social media aside, my business outside of social media makes me more money than the social media side, hands down.
Wait a minute, are the businesses outside of social media, do you not push them in your social media?
No, there are some businesses I do not funnel through my social media.
What else do you do? I know you like to use the word entrepreneur, and you are.
So I have a wholesale jewelry business where I sell big branded jewelry to retail.
I've seen the jewelry on your site.
Different?
Okay.
Different. And there's a reason why I don't put it on my social media, because I don't want my bikini modeling to link back to my customers. And I have the whole of North America, well, the whole of the United States for many of these big brands. And I don't want it linking the two together. Also, I don't want to advertise these big brands because they're not paying me to advertise them. That is not my job. That's not my role. My role
to sell them.
My role is I have my customer base, and you know, I have jewelry stores that have 18 locations, 16 locations, you know, big multi-chain companies that are my customers, and I sell to them. So that is my number one business. Then everything else that happens on my social media platform are products that I actually purchase. I don't like the dropship thing, because I think that the manufacturers and the companies selling those products are losing out. It's not fair to them, especially today's day and age. But most social media people are doing dropship, or they are doing get a discount code on behalf of a company, and then they will get like a 5% or a 10% kickback or whatever it is. I don't deal like that. I want the full profit. If it's I want to work for myself, be in business for myself, and I don't want to have to answer to anyone else that is wanting to hire me on as an influencer. I do not want to influence for anyone. I only want to influence my own products and things that I purchase and I physically have, because I want to ship them out. I want to make sure that my customers, my people that follow me, my audience are getting what they are purchasing, because it's my name on it and it's my integrity. So if I send them to another website and they don't ever receive the product, which does happen because there are a lot of scams out there. It's very easy to get scammed online.
Has
I
anybody?
don't want to be attached to that. I do not want to be attached to that.
I'm surprised about another thing.
Yes.
And it's not just because we're friends that I said the things that you have broken the mold of influencers and social media, but people in the entertainment business, how is it that nobody has noticed that what you've done is really a show? It's reality. It's not little 30-minute hits to get more clickbait.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that nobody has noticed that.
Well, my followers notice that. And
nobody in the entertainment business yet.
No, but look, I'm not in a position where I feel like, oh, I'm going to get noticed and somebody better pick me up. That is not what I'm in it for.
Why? But you certainly are in a position to do a compendium of what you want to show.
Yes.
Put it on a CD and send it off to some entertainment company and say, hey, I got a reality show. Yeah, I'll tone down the, how did you put it? The smaller bikini portions.
The sexiness.
Welcome to my world. This is my reality show.
Well, I guess I could.
And it's a shitload.
But then the other thing is, and you should have heard this in my questions, because somebody, a wonderful Italian man, sent me a message. See, I've got an elephant's memory, actually. I remember everyone that sends me a comment, a message, and anything that really, stands out to me, I remember. But I even remember his name, but I'm not going to say it on here.
No,
but it's this wonderful Italian man, and he says, Susan, why are you not in Hollywood? And have you ever been approached for a role? And why don't you want to be a famous actress? Like, why have you not done that yet? And my short response was, I do not like being dictated to. I don't want to become some Harvey Weinstein's little project.
But I get that, but I'm talking about the other way. The reason why reality shows have become so popular is because everybody's trying to save money, including the studios. Reality shows, believe it or not, are among the cheapest shows in the history of television. They don't have to pay anybody. They pay very few people. And here, you've created your own reality show on social media. You've transformed, you've pushed the envelope of what social media can be. You can supply them the content because you do your own filming. Of course, they'll give you people to film. And you're delivering them a product with one condition. I decide what goes on. I decide what the episodes are. You are charismatic. You are beautiful. You are brilliant. You just send it off to them. There are tons of agencies and producers, and the 500 cable network universe is dying for content.
Sounds like you want to watch me on Netflix. You don't want to watch me on Instagram anymore. Netflix.
On the contrary, I will watch you wherever you tell me. I am your liege lord. I said it. But you brought up Netflix, Prime. All the studios have held up their production of new content by up to 9 months, Susan.
Yeah.
They're drying up for content, and content that can be filmed without the politically correct parameters of distance and masking and God knows what. Do you know, here in Quebec, this was very funny, on the side, our premier is like a governor, said at the beginning of this thing, he was asked a question about the movie industry in Quebec, which is very important. And he said, well, you can make movies, but people shouldn't kiss. That's how crazy it's gotten. So you've got this wonderful reality show content.
Yeah, that's insane.
You're not kissing anybody, except your cat. I did see it.
The cat.
The cat's very
Do you want to see the cat?
Let's bring the cat on.
No, here's the cat. Because I was talking about sitting on this chair, but there's the damn cat. See, I spoke about sitting on the chair, and the cat went and took it over. Because cats have no souls.
You understand your cat is showing us his back.
Oh, yeah, he's just,
Like, he's just telling
everybody. I love him to death. And he's a good cat, but he is so needy. He
wants mommy back, and he's saying, okay, when is this going to end? So, like, she can stroke me and whatever.
Yeah, it's a rainy day. He's pissed off that he can't go outside. So now he's sitting there, and he is waiting for me. He does have, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to see the life of my cat. But he has some really crazy quirks. He likes to, he was a rescue cat. We rescued him from the forest. His mother passed away. He was rescued from Portland, Oregon. And I think he just didn't get enough mother's milk. So he needs me, and he sucks on my stomach. And, he's like all over my cotton shirts and everything. And it's just really nasty. But I love my cat, and I'll let him do it. He can't come near the tatas, but he can,
I haven't heard that word since I was in New Orleans.
And he can't come near the crotch, but he's allowed to, the boob, and he likes to hit the underside of my boob as well. And you gotta love him, because he thinks I'm his I am his mom, but he really thinks I'm his feline mother.
Right.
And I'm from Africa, so I probably do look like, this is like a big lion mane too.
I gotta tell you.
He just turned for you.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
He's like a lion. He's massive.
He is.
Yep.
What's his name? I know his name, but tell the audience.
Huda, like the cheese.
Yes.
Yes. He's a big cheese ball.
You're, by the way, I mean, I love all your stuff, but I got to tell you something. When you're in your kitchen whipping up your gourmet meals.
Oh, I love it.
And no, people, she is not in a bikini in the kitchen.
No.
She's turtlenecks.
I wear a white top.
Yes.
I wear my chef whites, but I don't wear.
And the tan top. Have you
noticed there's a theme? I wear black and white. So the bottoms are black. It could be a black skirt, but I wear white top. One thing you'll notice about me is I never wear a bra, because I am a pro free the nipples. I am so pro woman and so pro, why do women have to wear bras? They are fatter, bigger men with bigger boobs than women have. Why don't they wear a bra? They could feel how uncomfortable underwear is.
But Susan, you understand that not for you, but for many women, the bras actually help their backs. I mean, some are,
There is a tiny percentage of women out there that need that support. A tiny percentage.
Well, not over a certain age, though.
No, but I'm 36 years old, and I definitely do not need a bra. So I'm not going to wear a bra.
No,
I am promoting it for any woman out there that doesn't need a bra. If you need to wear a bra for health reasons, wear a bra to support your back. I'm not telling you not to, but I'm saying it's okay to show your nipples through your top. It's okay.
Absolutely. We had a situation here with a friend of mine.
Yes.
She's an educator, but she likes to keep fit. Very, very attractive woman. Do you know that her gym class, it's a commercial gym. She paid a membership, and she doesn't wear a bra. She wears a sports top when she's exercising. What, as she calls them, her high beams tend to stick out.
Of course, because they're rubbing against the top. Of course, you're going to get a nipple stand. They
told her to leave the gym and come back with a more appropriate gear. And so she made a public post saying, I'm very proud of my high beams, and they're going to stay that way. Good
for her. But still, I mean, that is actually disgusting. It's revolting that a company would impose that, especially when you're paying for a membership.
It is amazing how much...
That is a stigma that I wish would go away. Why do people worry so much about it?
And part of male hypocrisy, there's been so much... I don't like the word objectification. It's really overused. It's sociological. But companies make money with female beauty. And suddenly, in a gym, not in the page of a newspaper, in a gym, they got an object. Have we become such a snowflake culture?
I believe we have.
This is primal instinct. I mean, we're not talking about the problem, we've discussed this with North American men, and I'm from France, is that European men generally, particularly in France, Italy, are taught seduction. Here they're taught aggression. And I don't know what that's done to male mentality.
I can't tell you, I'm not a man.
Nothing good. As I told you, I'm involved with the West Island Women's Shelter in Montreal. And a very dear friend of mine, she's the president of it. And it's the largest one. And their crisis calls have come in 50% more since this pandemic started. So like guys, they're not guys, learn how to deal with women. I love them. but learn how to deal with them and appreciate them. Don't aggress all the time. It's a real problem. And don't send nasty messages to her, to Susan.
Well, but I do want to defend men as well, because I think it is important.
Go ahead, because as I told you, I think 95% of them are Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, knuckle draggers.
And that's okay. That is okay, because I do agree with a lot of it. But I also do think that there are a lot of men out there, and this is from my own personal experience, because this is from the conversations I have through my social media channels. So there are a lot of men out there that are in relationships. They are very unhappy because their wives are insanely prudish. They may be very religious. They may be oppressed in many ways. And it is, I can't say it's, I guess they need to take ownership, but it is also, and I go back to those core values, it's how they were raised, how they were dictated to, and how they are in their relationships now.
Is it not also the politicization?
I'm sure politics has a massive part to play in it. Politics plays a part in everything.
The female body has been politicized, it's become a political issue, both on the right and the left. The left tells you to cover up and look like your grandma Moses, and the right says, with all their deviancies, says don't appreciate women.
Agreed. Or the man is the head of the household, and women still have to work, because in today's day and age, women have to work, but then women have to pick the kids up from school, be a mom, do the homework, do the dinner, do the dishes, do the cleaning, do the everything. It's like at some point, women are going to have a nervous breakdown. All women will have nervous breakdowns because it's too much. You cannot do it.
I think you're much stronger than men, and I think you'll have another women's revolution.
Oh, women are definitely more stronger than men.
The pendulum will swing to the middle with women saying, okay, feministas, leave us the fuck alone. You right-wingers, go shoot yourselves, because we're not reversing RV Wade or anything else. Our bodies are our own, and leave us alone to explore our own passions. It's just as, the abortion rights movement happened because women said it's our bodies, our choice. That was physical. Well, our bodies, our choice also has an emotional component, which is sensual. And women will lead the fight to say, you know what? You guys, you're worried about the size of your equipment. You're worried about the size of your performance. You're worried about all kinds of things. We're not. So leave us alone to enjoy our lives. And women will lead that. Women like you will lead that.
Well, the funny thing is men really enjoy women's sexuality. Men really enjoy. Yes.
They won't admit it.
Well, they won't admit it, and they think it's they think it's a sin. It's like it, and there I go back to the core value again. They believe that it is going to get them into trouble. Men are like little boys. They still think they're going to get into trouble by their mothers and get put in a corner and get beaten by a wooden spoon. And that is the fact of the matter.
And by the way, sorry.
No. But when, and boys have a lot of mother issues. There are a lot of mother issues that go on with men, where they think, well, my mother would never have done that. Well, of course your mother may have done it, but you never knew about it.
Right.
And
our parents didn't talk too much about it. You want to
have sex with your mother.
Right.
You shouldn't want to have sex with your mother. So don't look up to your mother in that regard, in your wife or in your significant other, because your mom is your mom, and your significant other or your girlfriend or your bitch or whatever you want to call her is that person. So you've got to compartmentalize. And I think people have, and men have a hard time putting them in different categories where it's all like women are grouped together, women are mothers. But we're not.
They're viewers, and not because I admire her or she's my friend or she's obviously brilliant and eloquent. That's the voice of the new Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem was battling laws. Gloria Steinem was burning bras to break down barriers of laws against women. Ruth Ginsburg did it in the courts. Gloria Steinem did it in the streets. And in her magazine, MS, this is the voice of the new Gloria Steinem. Leave us the hell alone to enjoy ourselves. Our passions are ourselves. They're not subject to debate. They're not subject to criticism. And they're certainly not subject to legislation and community judgment. So if you want to be a blue-haired prohibitionist, keep that shit at home. And by the way, for you viewers I get comments, by the way, Susan, on what's behind me, right? So for you viewers who may have noticed that there's a statue behind me and there's a nipple and a breast showing, that's a classic reproduction of Salome, who's in the bloody Bible. So don't, and let's not forget, by the way, you right-wing biblical quoters out there, when David, King David, in the book of Psalms, when he wanted to praise God, there is, of course, the famous line, and David danced naked in the streets of Jerusalem in praise of his God. He wasn't sitting in some room studying books. He danced naked because passion is part of what we're given. You like that?
I love it. And look, behind me I have Madonna like a virgin.
That was my lead-in to Madonna. What's with the Madonna picture?
I still under over there.
You
Sorry,
what?
Beryl.
Sorry?
Yeah, Madonna. I love Madonna because she has, like myself, I have reinvented myself. I have gone through, and everyone goes through phases, whether you want to recognize it or not. But you have to constantly be reinventing yourself in life in order to find happiness, right? Madonna she is an icon. She is definitely somebody I have looked up to in my life because I really appreciate her femininity. I appreciate her voice, her sexiness, and all of it. I'm not a book reader. I do not like reading books. I've told Beryl that earlier. But one of my favorite books.
It's the only thing that I'm a little bit disappointed in her, but I feel I'm going to bring her along.
It's okay. There's a reason why I don't like reading books.
I'm sending you a reading list. You know that.
Insane imagination, and I just make books up in my brain.
And she got an A+ once in school.
I did. I got an A+
fictional book report on a fictional book. But you understand, I'm sending you a reading list.
Ugh.
It's not going to be long.
Okay, fine. Find it on audio.
No, it's going to include things like Anais Nin, who was Henry Miller's lover, who wrote Venus Erotica, a classic.
Okay, but my favorite book is the Madonna sex book.
Okay.
I'm going to say it. It's the Madonna sex book.
And I have to plead my ignorance. I didn't know it existed till she told me. So now I'm going to go and get it.
Do you want to see it?
Yes.
It's going to take me a short little walk over there. But while I'm doing that, I'm getting another glass of Prosecco. So you may want to cut this portion out. Actually, I don't do that.
Yes.
Okay. Here I come. The sex book has to be read with certain glasses. I've got my glasses for the sex book. I do need more Prosecco for the sex book. I'm trying to say sex as often as I can on your Zoom call.
How do you say what?
I'm trying to say sex as often as I can on your Zoom call.
On your what?
Your Zoom call. This is a Zoom call.
I should think so.
So, all right. It is very important that you wear the glasses when you read the sex book because you have to see everything.
Of course. It's
so these are the glasses.
Did they come with the book?
No. These were aftermarket. Okay.
It's all in the details. We understand that.
But this is the Madonna sex book. And I mean, you know, it's all about sex
Imagery.
And sensuality. And Madonna took a lot of flack for this, actually. Yep. A lot of flack. But, you know, in hindsight now, looking back, I have got so much damn respect for this woman because when this book came out, you know, it's just a foot and a leg and a guy in bondage gear. But you know
where she got the inspiration from it. In the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, even into the 80s, the leading fashion photographer was a Jewish refugee from Nazi Germany by the name of Helmut Newton, who Vogue used for most of their covers. And he would pose, for example, one of his favorite ones, most famous or infamous, depending on how you classify it, but I think the original was sold for over $1 million, had a woman, a fine figure of a lass.
Stopped you in your tracks.
A fine figure of a lass. So Helmut Newton's most famous picture was a woman on her hands and knees in bed alone, no man in the picture. And this was the 60s, by the way, where it was just opening up. And she had an English riding saddle on her back and a bridle in her mouth. It made a storm, of course. I think the original was sold for over $1 million.
Love it.
Helmut Newton. And then you know what he did? And this is getting to my almost last question. You are an opinionated woman. You know the world. And I know that if there was a cause that you believed in or an injustice, you would use your fame, and you have fame, and your audience to do that. Just as somebody in Montreal did it when she saw anti-Semitic videos on TikTok. And Helmut Newton wanted to support. There was a period of time about 20 years ago when reporters were being killed in war zones or killed by dictators. And there was an organization called Reporters Without Borders. And he donated his most sensual photographs, very much like Madonna's, black and white things, for a magazine that was sold everywhere to raise money for Reporters Without Borders. So what people consider this is to the audience, don't freak out over the Madonna pictures. There's a tradition of this. We use our passion, our sensuality to progress people, to liberate people. It's normal. We have a physical side and a spiritual side, and our sensuality and our sexuality is very much part of our spiritual side. And you're not going to eliminate that because of some preconceived, as Susan would say, values, or as the Republicans say, core values, which makes my stomach turn even more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I must admit. So good.
You got a lot off your chest, right?
No, it wasn't even getting things off my chest at all. It's just very nice to bear my own truth and, to convey as well. Like, I think, I hope I never get looked upon that I've never received a comment that it's like, you're a stupid woman or a bimbo or blah, blah, blah. There's never been anything.
You're hardly that. Nobody will ever say that.
No, everyone knows I'm uber smart, intellectual, a businesswoman, and I do not like being dictated to. The second somebody says something, do this, do that, I go, I'm going to do the total opposite. Like, don't even go there.
Don't push me. I know. Don't push me. I get it.
And I think, I wish more women were like that. It's refreshing to me to be this way.
You should be liberating. You are a liberating factor for women.
Well, and I hope more women get to see that. And I hope women get to see this. And I hope that they can feel my love and feel my support.
Oh, and they will. My audience is 65% women.
I love that. That's awesome. Well,
I think it's a great compliment.
Well, then I would like to convey this to all the women out there that, don't be ashamed of your body type, everything you've been told by men and women. I think what we get told by women probably affects us the most. Push it aside and feel your inner self and listen to your heart and your soul. And if you can do something for yourself each day that makes you feel more of a sexual, sensual woman, that gets you in touch with your sexuality and sensuality, because that's who we are. We are sexual, beautiful beings. Women are gorgeous.
Women and men are sexual, sensual beings. They don't.
Men are too, but men have no problem harnessing it. They
have a problem refining it.
Yeah, absolutely refining it. But men have no problem with it. There are a lot of women out there that have a hard time. They feel bad when they're feeling sexual. There's a lot of people that are told that you do not get to orgasm until you get married. You do not get to enjoy sex until you are having a baby. Like, sex is.
By the way, women are really told that?
Yes, in many cultures.
No. You don't get to orgasm until you get married, or you shouldn't have sex until you get married.
Both, in many religions. Sex to women it's told that it's a sacred thing. It's a complete sacred thing. Once you break that hymen, you're done. So you better wait until you get married,
Still today.
And yes, religion is still going. You tell me when religion is
but I mean,
done.
even in religious communities, like we live in a province where I think I told you, over 50%.
Oh, I live in a very religious area.
Over 50%. Well, the church used to control Quebec, the Catholic Church, but there was a movement away from it in the 60s. And I think I told you in our conversation, over 50% of the babies born in Quebec, particularly the Francophone women who are raised Catholic, are born to single mothers. There's been a move away from that in Quebec. As a matter of fact, our biggest news magazine, French news magazine here, had a cover story of a woman, tank top, hot pants, legs up, earphones on. I'm single and I'm enjoying it, and I'm about me. So here the women are very liberated your way. In Quebec.
And I love that. But I do want to.
Not in Canada. The rest of Canada is old stock Brit. All those values that you talked about.
Well, I mean, I love to hear that, but I must admit, we live in first world countries. Yeah. You've got to understand that majority of the world, totally different.
Totally different.
But everyone in the world gets Instagram, pretty much.
Yep.
Elon Musk, thankfully, is giving internet to everyone in the world. So everyone has the opportunity to have a smartphone, to get online, to educate themselves or whatever. But whatever your race, whatever, however much money you have, you are going to be available to have an app on your phone, right? Or you are going to have access to an app. So people get to see this, and those women that are in oppressed societies get to see this stuff, get to see me, an independent, strong, first world woman. I'm not talking about Canadians. I'm not talking about Americans. We have it all. We are so rich. We are so blessed. We have so much shit. We don't even know what to do with it. But this is really about the women that don't have. They have nots. And you see a girl come from South Africa. Yes, I was raised very privileged. But it wasn't my privilege that got me to the United States. It was because I'm a yes woman. Because I say, fuck the man, excuse my language, I can do anything. I can do anything.
Jeffrey came up with that word, it's all good.
There are no boundaries, I can do anything. And I want to go back, because when I was talking to the women out there, your followers that may have lost their sexuality, their sexualness, they may never have found it, they may have never have felt sexy, because they may have been put down. There may have been many factors, many reasons, maybe abuse, maybe all sorts of things. But for the majority of women that hit over the age of 50 that are divorced, because like you say, there's a major divorce rate, they feel like they're expired. And I can honestly tell you, the way you can harness that expiration back and feel legitimate and feel like you have your life back and you can own yourself and you can really find love again or find your sexuality again, you can totally do it. You just have to find self-love. And that is really the only thing I try to convey, self-love, through everything I do, self-love. Anyway, that's me.
I can't think of a better or more eloquent note to end this on. Susan, you're delicious. I love you for coming on to this. I love you anyway. And
love you to death, Beryl. Thank you so much.
Folks out there, if you didn't find this hour about one of the most enjoyable things you've seen, check your pulse. Like, I want to make sure you're alive, and it's not because of COVID. Check your pulse. Susan Eliza Port, check her out on Instagram. She's wonderful. And you'll learn a lot about yourselves. Forget the politics today. Get yourself in order. Or to phrase it the way Susan might, off the air, get your shit together inside.
Get your shit together.
Susan, thank you.
Love you. Thank you so much for having me on. And let's be back again one day.
And we've talked about that. And we're going to have Susan on May 1st for sure, because it's a merry month of May. And just to let you guys be aggravated with me even more, because I get enough mail saying that I'm too licentious and and I lead too much of a rakish existence and a pleasurable one. So remember that famous song in Camelot that Vanessa Redgrave sang, The Merry Month of May, and the great tradition in 16th and 17th century England that in May, everybody plays. And we're going to have her back. Today is the first day of spring, and we're going to have her back. Well, we might have her back before, but we're going to have her back for sure on the first day of the lascivious, lush, merry month of May. Susan Eliza Port, thank you.
Thank you.